And that's
Mm.
just setting it down, letting go of all the crap you don't need to worry about that's not yours to carry, and really identifying, giving yourself an opportunity to dream for yourself, not for your kids, not for your parents, not for your best friend, your significant other, specifically and only for you. What do you love? What would you love if you could imagine your dream life a year from now? And the reason I coach this way is because somebody did that for me.
Welcome to Success Leaves Clues, the podcast where we interview business owners on how they built their businesses and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is David Wynn, and I'm a business coach and the founder of Purple Circle, where we help business owners achieve their first 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure year, all without sacrificing their quality of life. Before becoming a business coach and before founding Purple Circle, I started and scaled several 7- and 8-figure coaching businesses and have been a consultant at several businesses doing over $100 million each, including some that are publicly listed and doing over $1 billion each. In every episode of the podcast, you're going to learn lessons that took our guests years to learn, and you'll be able to learn that in minutes. No matter if you're a new business owner or an established business owner, every episode is going to give you the clues in order to elevate your business.
Welcome to Success Leaves Clues podcast. I'm Pedro, and today I'm joined by Beth Robins, founder of the Seize the Day with a Smile movement and the Seize the Day Academy, whose decades of work as a coach, speaker, and author in health, wellness, mindset, and human potential have been shaped by one core belief: someday is not a strategy. Beth works primarily with men and women 50 plus navigating major life transitions, including empty nest, divorce, career pivots, burnout, retirement, and selling a business. Beth's transformational coaching experiences include Create the Vision, a 3-month group coaching program focused on clarity and momentum, and Master the Vision, a 6-month program designed for deeper identity shifts and a long-term life redesign. Her mission is refreshingly direct: help people stop waiting for someday and start seizing the day. Welcome to the show, Beth.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Okay. And, you could be doing so many things with your life, right? You could be a chef, you could be a plumber, but you chose coaching, right? Now, I want to understand the early days, the journey, right? The origin story, and why coaching in the first place.
Well, you say I chose coaching, but I think coaching chose me. I think I'm going to tell you, I tried to ignore it for way too long. My career started on Broadway, and I did musical theater, and that was awesome and loved it. And it was like the dream, right? Since I was a little girl. And then I got married, and when the kids started to come, the showbiz and changing diapers and all that, they didn't mesh real well. So I was like, okay. And during my whole showbiz days, I was always the gal who like led the warm ups and memorized the Jane Fonda tapes, if anybody remembers those from 100 years ago. And so I was like, I could go into fitness and group fitness and all of that. And so I knew all along, like I was either a teacher or a coach, and it was either second grade or it was grown-ups. So I went with the grown-up route and became a fitness and wellness coach. So nutrition and fitness and mindset were kind of the three parts of the tripod. And I loved it because I got to be on stage still. I was teaching aerobics, I had the little microphone, and I think what always lit me up was aha moments in clients where they'd be like doing something, whether it was a squat and just shift their hips a certain way. It's like, oh my gosh, this doesn't hurt my knees, or this is awesome, or I lost 20 pounds, or whatever. And I would get such a rise out of that. I love that. Like, it was never about me. It was like, what can I help you do or help you see or whatever. And I went kind of on that path for a few decades. We'll just define it as that. And I think with the fitness industry, there was like that moment when I woke up and said, there's got to be something more. And I thought the more was retiring and moving to San Diego. So I was in Chicago. It was a little chilly there in the winter. So I did that, and I pivoted to retirement, and then COVID hit. And my fitness clients were freaking out because the gyms are closed, and like, can you please just figure out this Zoom thing they'd all heard about and teach fitness? So I couldn't find weights. You couldn't buy weights anymore because everybody was buying them off Amazon. There was like literally nothing to buy to use. So I was using uh, liquid detergent jugs with my weights, right? So I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing. I'm teaching fitness out of my living room, and I'm teaching to ceiling fans because whenever they were on the floor, that nobody would move their camera. So I'm like standing there going, really, is this it? This is what I'm doing? And it was this epiphany, like, no, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be coaching on a way deeper spiritual level. And it was for me that aha, like, okay, I figured it out. I'm not supposed to be retired. This chirping that I'd had for so long, like, you need to go deeper. This isn't about squats and sit ups. This is way more in the human potential world. And you might not have it figured out, but you're a rung or two ahead of these people laying on the floor. So I dove head first, and I also made a huge decision for me is that I wasn't going to do this as a hobby, but this was going to be a full on business, and I didn't know how, but I just had this feeling like I didn't need to know how yet. Like it was all going to fall in place for me. And looking back, connecting the dots, it did. But I put up a lot of resistance to my own self. So I took the long route to where I am today. Is the short version of that is the long way home. But I'm here. I made it.
Okay. I need some explanation here. Like
Yeah.
from retirement to full blown business, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's a big shift. Can you walk me through that decision? Like you could be, sipping margaritas, whatever, right?
Mhm.
But you chose to at this stage of your life to really scale a
Yeah.
coaching business, right? So can you walk me through that mentality and why,
Right?
basically?
I'm still asking why. No, the why is because the chirp would not shut up. Like I stepped in. I've had so many powerful epiphanies over like literally the last year, and it all comes from saying yes to the next thing. And I think it was on a podcast or I was in an interview, and somebody asked me the right question at the right time, and I said, you know what, I'm not playing big because that makes it sound like I'm small, but I am playing bold and out loud. And that was, I don't know that it was like I sat there and said, I'm going to make this decision. I think, again, these decisions are choosing me. It's me setting down some resistance. And maybe it's my wiser age and years that I'm done. I'm done pretending. I'm done hiding, and I'm willing to accept this calling. And so the epiphanies were I was chosen to do this, and I could keep denying it and keep putting a little umbrella over it or a shade. And I talk about I have an imaginary ceiling, and I think looking back at my past business career, I would hit this imaginary ceiling. That's where imposter syndrome, the fear of failure. I also had a fear of success. What if I get too big and then I don't have time to sip margaritas by the beach? And all of those fear paradigms got louder. And now that I know from coaching is when those things show up, that's actually the good news. It means I'm on to something. But most of the time we shut down. We're like, oh, it's too scary. I don't know how to do it. And so we let go. And so I would, instead of keep rising and scaling, I hit that ceiling, and then I go, oh, well, maybe I could go over here and I could go over here. So I would tentacle out. And then I had too many things going on, and I wasn't focusing on the one thing. The one thing was the actual core of the business. So I had to rein things in, and I had to set my fear over there in the passenger seat, and I had to just go ahead. And, for me, it was like, hire people, girl, like, you don't have to do this by yourself. And so I've had this, I am woman, I am strong, I'm a solopreneur. And it's like, that's such BS. Like, just ask for help. Like, you don't need to have it all figured out, but you you do need to be in a place where you can allow people to come in and do the things you don't want to do or you don't want to know how to do. Just somebody else to do the do so you can do what you do, right? So I've learned to stay in my lane. And my lane is coaching and being authentic and genuine. And that's just who I am. And that's what I do. And I do it really well. So I don't do the tech stuff very well. So
Mm.
I'm going to stay right here. And I think when you align with that energy of who you really are and what you're really supposed to be doing, the rest, I dare I say, gets easier. That's my experience.
Okay. So a couple of things, right? First, thanks for putting me on the spot, right? So you were opening with, yeah. So last time I went to a podcast, they changed my life, and I have all this pressure to change your life, right?
So,
What's up with that? Take it easy. We're just starting, right? I'll try my best here. That's one thing. The second thing is that actually I'm pretty curious, right? Because after COVID, you kind of changed your business. And I want to understand there because that pivotal moment, and sometimes in the early days for coaches and all that, but you're different. You changed the ICP kind of, right? And the business itself. So when you did that after COVID, who are the people that kept showing up? You know, the ones you realized eventually, okay, this is my tribe. So who do you serve now? And after the pivot, just right after the pivot, if you had a moment of like evolution, right? Hey, maybe this is it, maybe this is not it, you know?
mm. So there were a lot of pivots, a lot of epiphanies, and a lot of moments where I realized things. That first one was that day where I'm teaching to the ceiling fans that I was like, oh my God, this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. So I knew that the fitness, like that doing it that way, that was not it. So that was like a hard stop. Like I can't. I'm choosing not to. That's what can't really means. I'm choosing not to do that anymore. At that time, I was mostly training women, and that was fine because I am a woman and I know how our bodies work, and they work a little differently than men's bodies. But I realized, like when I got back on stage as a speaker, that I would, and I do a lot of videos and things like that, but I was attracting more men than women. So then there was this moment like, is this like a dating thing? Like, are they trying to go out with me, or are they like legit like resonating with the words I'm saying? And I had a videographer at one event where I was speaking, and he captured a young man, tears rolling down his face. And he captured that because he's like, you're clearly thinking you're speaking to women over 45. And this is who you're resonating with. And I was like, what?
Oh.
So when you said, in my bio that I work with men and women over 50, it's really all men and women. I just throw that number out. But whatever it was, I was saying he was in a transition in his life where he was trying to figure out what he wanted to be when he grew up. And I'm not saying he was that young, like he wasn't 7, but he was probably in his early 30s, and realizing that he went to college to become something. And I know this now after speaking with him, that wasn't what he wanted to be. It was what his parents were directing him toward. This is where you're going to make money. This is what the family's always done. And he's feeling this resistance, and he wasn't in love with his life. He was checking his soul at the door. He was doing all those things that we've all done, right? Where we think that's the path we're supposed to be on, or we're doing it because for me, I was a consummate people pleaser. And, if you wanted me to do that, okay, I'll do that. I'd really like to do this, but you want me to be here, so I'll do that. And I did it for way too long. And so that was like, oh, these are the people I want to reach out, and I want to guide you back home to who you're really meant to be. So that when you wake up in the morning, this is my whole thing about seize the day. It's like, that feeling when it's like when you're a kid and it's Christmas or it's your birthday or it's vacation day and your family's going to go on this trip you've been talking about forever. And you're so excited, like, oh my God, I can't wait for this day and all these adventures we're going to have. And I love my life. That's the feeling we were meant to be here on earth to have every flipping day. And we make choices in our life to block that. And so my whole thing is I say, come back home. I got the porch lights on like my mom used to do when I was a kid. And if you're lost, your GPS, your Waze took you the wrong direction, I can guide you back home. And that's just setting it down, letting go of all the crap you don't need to worry about that's not yours to carry, and really identifying, giving yourself an opportunity to dream for yourself, not for your kids, not for your parents, not for your best friend, your significant other, specifically and only for you. What do you love? What would you love if you could imagine your dream life a year from now? And the reason I coach this way is because somebody did that for me. And I laid down all the stuff that I was pretending to be, and let all of that just happen for me, through me.
Okay. Certain points here. First of all, maybe he was crying because he had finally the opportunity to ask you out. I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding. He was like, finally.
Yay!
Right? Yay. The second is, well, second point. Oh, you mentioned Christmas, right? I always envision an American visiting Brazil. I'm from Brazil on December just to meet Santa wearing shorts and flip flops, right? It would be a surreal experience because we're in the South Hemisphere, right?
Yeah.
So it's hot here. Now, the third thing is like on a serious note is so let's pretend, let's do a kind of a game of pretend here, Beth. Let's pretend I'm your ideal client profile, okay? Um, and I hit a ceiling. It sounds like I'm spinning my wheels. I need to know what do I love, right? Something like to that extent. Okay. Now, how would I be able to find your business, in the first place? Let's talk like marketing wise.
Well, marketing wise, I do everything through a website. I also have a school platform, the SKOOL, and I'm on social media a lot. So that's pretty much where most people find me.
Okay. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so let's pretend, still in the game of pretend, I looked at your website, right? Your school website too. That's a website too, a community, or even your social media, right? And what you have out there really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm like, oh, she gets me, and I reach out, right?
Yeah.
And eventually we go through the sales process. We can even speed that up a little, or we can just say that we're aligned. Okay, it sounds like you can help me. I understand you can help me, or if you want to talk a little bit about that, no problem at all. But the main thing I want to understand here is, can you give me a little bit a peek behind the curtain of how does it look like to work with your business, right? So I can have a little bit of understanding and the potential outcomes I can expect.
That's a great question. So I would say when most people find me, we have a moment together. And whether it's on a call or I do things called a vision experience. And in that process, I pull back the curtain for you and show you and let you hear yourself say out loud some things that you can never unsee or unhear ever again. And that's you tapping into what it would be like a year from now, after you've invested in yourself to work with me, where we have fully blueprinted what that would look like, where you're living, who you're with, what you're doing, even like what you're wearing, smells around you, sounds around you. And we go really deep with that, almost in a guided meditation where you get to feel that. Now you can never, ever forget that experience because that's like imprinted on your soul. And so we've done that. So now you're like, oh man, you've already seen your future. You've lived it in your imagination, and that's where it all begins. We work from that. We have that vision and the energy you felt when you went there. So rather than pushing toward a goal over the 12 weeks that we start out together, we're not pushing like grinding like when I was a personal trainer, like we're going to lose those 20 pounds, or we're going to drop the inches here, we're going to push, right? We're pushing toward a goal. In this coaching, we are coming from the energy of your vision. So it's a whole different feeling, because every time you start to go, well, what if, or how, or all in that, we go back to the energy of your vision, where because when you come from there, you drop resistance, you get into a place of allowing, and what you're allowing is inspired action ideas. And then I hold you accountable. We actually like we'll popcorn ideas like, what's the one thing I could do with what I have from where I am right now? That's all you need to know. What's one thing I could do that I'm willing to do and that I'm willing to put on my calendar, and I will, in a coaching session, by when will you have that done? And you'll say Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And I will be keeping track of that. So Tuesday at 5 o'clock, how did it go when you did the do? And that's all it is. It's about doing the do. So you are coming up with the plan. You are the highest authority on you. And that is something I respect to the highest level. It's not me as your therapist. It's not me going, well, maybe you should try this or maybe you should try that. I'm asking quality questions where you yourself come up with the answer. You come up with the action step. I hold you accountable. All of it is within you already. It's just all the resistance up until now that you've put in your path that's kept you from getting there. So what it would look like is each week we build on the week before. We start with just blueprinting. We take that idea, that imaginary life of yours a year from now as our breaking ground and our blueprinting. Like, now we're going to design that. And so we have here and we have here. This is where we're going, right? This is where we are. So then the path of the 12 weeks is taking you step by step. We work through things like lots of fear paradigms, and they get louder and louder the closer we get to this benchmark. And we work on forgiveness for yourself for not getting there yet, forgiveness for circumstances, situations, people in your life, whatever you have used and held on to and clung to like a victim story that is you're using. Well, I would be there, but I don't have the money, or I don't have the right education, or I wasn't taught how to do that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you can let go of that, it's like a hot air balloon, and it's staked to the ground until everybody gets on, hopefully. And then they take the stakes and the balloon goes. These stakes are your excuses. They're your victim story. They're the reasons you haven't been able to get here. And I'm telling you this from experience because I thought I knew. I read the books. I went to seminars. I went to webinars. I know how to do this. Well, if I knew how to do it, I'd be here now. And I'm still here. I'm holding on to I had a lot of victim stories. Oh my gosh, we all do, right? And none of that matters. And I'll listen to them with a little bit of empathy, but then I'll be like, okay, are you ready to let go? And then everybody's like, yeah, I want to let go. And then I teach you how. And that's what we build on. We build on it, and we might get here and we slide back, but I'm giving you tools that you can use for the rest of your life, that now you can notice, oh, wait, I'm thinking those thoughts I used to think when I was here. You can catch it early before you go back down the rabbit hole, right? And then you can, I'm thinking those thoughts. And you know how to get through them, process them, and then move to the next level.
Okay.
That's your 12 weeks.
Now,
that's just getting started.
Right. Now, here's the thing, right? I donated a lot of money in my life. And you're thinking right now, wow, what a great soul. Not really. It's not for nonprofits. It's for profit businesses. I'll give an example. Gym memberships. I've donated some money to those people. And here's the thing. A lot of times we, as human beings, we romanticize the fact of doing something, right? Just to sleep better. Like, oh, I'm going to pay this gym and I'm doing something, right? But I'm not hitting there as I should or whatever. You probably know that.
Yes.
Now, the question for you is, what happens? And I know you anchor the why here and the purpose of what they want to do, why they want to do. You explain that. But what happens? What's the process if you encounter yourself with a Pedro in your way that is like, yeah, I want to do it, and then start snow showing and start not doing the homework, and it's like almost like code outreach to talk with this Pedro, you know? So how do you navigate that? Because I see a lot of coaches out there and then talk with them, and sometimes they tell me, hey, sometimes I'm talking with clients and even it sounds like code outreach. They're paying me, but they're like really not doing the work. And I would love to know, how do you navigate that?
Well, most of my coaching is in small groups. I do one-on-ones as well, and I think the beauty of that is from day one we're building a community. So not only am I holding you accountable, so are these four other people. And so when you show up, you're not necessarily even just there for yourself. You're there as a support for the other four people. And what I've noticed in 2 to 3 weeks in, there will be, you have your spotlight time where we're talking about a win or a challenge you might be going through, and the rest of the group is listening in. And what I notice is the rest of the group starts coming in and wrapping their arms around you and saying, "Oh, I'm seeing you're sliding back, or your energy seems off, or whatever," and building you up. And I think that when you become part of a community like that, where you can let your guard down, it's safe. I think that profoundly that is the difference. I noticed that when I was a personal trainer, that when I started doing group coaching, small group, maybe 10 people max, they became a community outside of me. And I think that when COVID hit and they asked me to come back on Zoom to teach, it wasn't even necessarily about we're going to work out together. The first 5 or 8 minutes were them catching up, like, "Oh, so and so had a baby," and it was like, "Oh, we're a community." When I taught group fitness, everybody always stand. I don't know if you've ever been to a group fitness class, but everybody seems to stand in the same spot, and
Do
it's
I
really
look like I went to one of those?
no. But that's what happens. Well, what's really interesting is you notice when somebody's missing. It's like, "Oh wait, that spot's empty."
Oh, Pedro is missing again.
Right, he's missing again. So I think if there were patrons like you that like to donate money, I mean, I'm okay if you want to donate money, but I am someone who I will stay in your head. I'm always sending out text messages and emails. I will call you and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" I'm going to reach out with a lot of love in my heart, because I can't care more about your dream than you, but I
Hmm.
can care deeply about you caring about your dream.
Mm, interesting.
It's a
Okay.
different feeling. It's not like you're being shamed for not showing up.
Hmm.
It's you feeling that actual love and care, that I really care about why you're not showing up. And might be a conversation, because there's a reason you're not doing it. It's not laziness. It's not, "Oh, I don't really care." There's
Hmm.
something deeper. And it's my job as a coach to reach down in there and find out what is that that's allowing him to do that. What is it? What is it going on? Is it a pattern that goes back to a childhood thing? Was there an incident that happened in your life? Whatever. But again, I'm not a therapist, but I am somebody who knows how to ask the quality questions that all of a sudden you have a breakthrough, like, this is why. I never felt like it was worth it, or I had this bad experience 20 years ago and I'm still holding on to it. Our subconscious mind is so flippin' powerful. It's 97% of our thoughts that we're not even aware of. And they're thoughts that we've taught our subconscious mind to think,
Hmm.
because they're in that little loop. And you think them long enough, it becomes a belief about yourself. So your belief about yourself is, "I'm going to donate money to this gym. I'm going to tell everybody I got a membership, and I have no intention of actually going there." Now, as
Mm,
an owner, I love that. But as your coach,
not really. Okay. Okay. Now let's shift gears for a second. I'm curious about where you're taking all this. Looking ahead, where do you see the business going? Are you thinking about scaling, hiring, or is there a next step you're excited about?
so excited. Again, I made that decision. I'm playing bold. I have two little things going. I have the Seize the Day with a Smile movement, and that is my goal is 100 million souls, to get this idea of what Seize the Day means personally. And that is, every morning you wake up with a choice and a chance how you're going to greet the day. Some days you need more courage, resilience, love, understanding, whatever, but that you understand that you get to do that. That's your birthright, and you get to seize the day before the day seizes you. So I wrote eight books, 7 of them last year, 5 for kids. So that's a little thing that I have out there that I just want everybody in the world to understand. I think it's really important. I think one of my books is Seize the Day with Kindness, and I've joined up with a global kindness movement that's coming up this in the fall of 2026, and that is coming out of a little island, Puerto Rico, and it's going global. So that's one arm of it. As far as scaling, something I've never done in the business world, I've always been a solopreneur. I got this, and I was like, I don't want to just have this, because with this bold vision for my future, I can't do it by myself. So, scaling wise is bringing in associate coaches who coach the programs that I'm allowing them to coach, so that I can go out and get on stages. I can write more books and I can attract people to the business, and they will still have the opportunity to be coaching with me in my school community. I coach live every month and all of that. So they still have touches with me. And I will do one-on-one VIP clients. And that's all just me. But my associate coaches then keep the business growing, so that instead of me doing 10 sessions a week with 5 people in groups, my business is doing 100 a week, and that's all global. These are coaches that I'm attracting from all over the world. So it's
Okay.
not just me, but it's an arm of me.
Right. Yeah. So you can create that ripple effect and actually impact that 100 million goal, right? That you told me. That makes perfect sense. It's you can only go so far by yourself, I would say.
Exactly.
So, right? Okay.
And I was
Now,
okay with just being a one woman show, because I didn't have these bold aspirations, and it was something I heard myself say out loud, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing that. And that's what I'm
right.
doing. I'm committed to it for sure.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, right, whenever we have something in the horizon, we're thinking about a goal, there's always something we're refining, right? So what are you currently trying to improve or even tighten up in your business right now?
What I am doing is tightening up the systems, the back end things, and here's how I'm tightening it. I hired somebody else to tighten it for me,
Good idea.
right? So that just makes everything streamlined and easy. Nobody gets lost in the cracks, because that's what was happening. You go out and you meet people and like, oh, I really want to work with you, or I really want to talk to you more about this. And you're like, great, let's exchange business cards. And then you reach in your pocket and you're like, wait, who is that? Or maybe you take a picture of them and you exchange numbers and all of that. Now I have a system that it's flawless. And so that was key, number one. I think that that's something that I'm tightening, and then I'm also getting out there and attracting more people into the business, but also interacting with other coaches. And rather than me setting up masterminds and having coaches come in and having me teach them how I do my business, why don't I just bring them into the business? It's a win-win for all of us. I can nurture them, coach them to be better coaches, and then they're also part of my business.
I love that. Okay. Now, let's venture a little bit into sci-fi territory here. Let's pretend we
Okay.
have a a time machine in front of us, and I'll give you two options. With the You love to. Okay. Well, first of all, we're gonna have two stops. Okay. First stop is you can pick. I'm gonna let you pick. You can go to either the pivotal moment from after COVID when you changed the ICP, or you can go back almost 36 years ago when you opened shop in your business, right? So we're talking about you going back to one of those 2 points in time. You pick that and giving yourself one piece of business advice you wish you knew back then, right? That you know now. What would that be, and when would that be?
So I'm going to go back to that pivotal moment with COVID, after COVID, and the myself talking to my old self as a businesswoman would be that you're far more powerful than you've ever allowed yourself to know up until now. This isn't a solopreneur job. This is you expanding and raising your hand and saying, I don't want to have to learn these certain aspects of the business. that I'm willing to invest in hiring people right from the beginning, because I went into this new business with the mindset, I've got this, I've done this kind of stuff like this before, and I can find out on YouTube. I mean, I fixed my toilet. I can certainly start a business with a YouTube, right? Um, and I was just, I don't know if it was stubborn or ignorant or I don't know. But I think be humble and ask for help, but not from YouTube. Like seek out the mentors from day one. I did it in certain aspects of my business, as far as speaking and becoming the coach that I am today. Those were all me going, yeah, I don't know how to do that. So but I love learning that. But I think the technical aspects of running a business and how to scale a business, I would have started from day one.
Okay. Now, second stop, you can go back in time, and I wanna keep on the after COVID stuff. Okay. And you can go back to one specific time that you realize, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This made sense. It's just like you feel so fulfilled that this was the right call. What would that be?
Oh gosh, I could call up many coaching moments where
I want one top of mind. You got to make a decision. I am that type of guy. I want a
okay,
specificity.
you want to because it would be a coaching moment.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay, where yeah, there was a coaching moment with a client who something almost catastrophic happened.
Mm.
And it would happen while we were in a coaching session. The doorbell rings, and she's handed a piece of really bad news. And she comes back to the screen, and there I am, right there, alive in the flesh, in the present tense. And I was just really calm. And I think it was that calmness, the way that I just handled the rest of that session with her, where she had such a breakthrough. And first realizing that 6 weeks, if that would have happened 6 weeks ago in the past, she would have been a complete mush, dropped everything, curled up in a ball, not come out from under the covers. It would have triggered a lot of anxiety and all the other patterns that she had in her life up until that moment, that I could sit there and I had all the tools and just could be there in that moment with her and coach her through that. To within 25-30 minutes, she had a step-by-step action plan that she created. I did not offer any advice. I did not offer any suggestions. I just asked quality questions where she came up with her own plan that came from inside of her that she knew she could do. And the tears rolling down her face, like, I've got this. I actually know I've got this. For the first time in my life, I've got this. And her saying that was like, I mean, I was doing everything I could to stay professional and not cry with her. But man, oh man, I shut down that session and let it flood out. And I remember I called my best friend and go, I am so in love with what I do. Like I am exactly where I am supposed to be at the exact right time. I know 10 years ago, I would not have been able to conduct that session. That I'm here. I stepped into this calling. I love what I do. Like that was just such a moment for me. That I sometimes when I get in the, as business owners, we have stuff that happens, or it gets like, oh, this is hard, or oh my gosh, where are the clients, or oh, this is this, or whatever, and we get down on ourselves. I go back to that memory, and I gave you one. There's been many, but that was the one that I pull up that conjured up when you just asked me that question. That just sits in my heart. It was such a beautiful experience.
Mm. I love that.
It carries me through the rough times. It's like, no, remember
Mm.
that. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's like a cornerstone. It anchors us when we have those moments and we can savor them because
Yeah.
we have our down moments. Everyone has those, and it's good to have some of those in the pocket, right? So you, hey, check this out. What you're thinking is not really what's happening. It's even sometimes not even reality, right? And we need to look at stuff like that. Um, yeah, it makes sense, right? To what we're doing and all that. Now, if someone listening wants to connect with you or follow your work, okay, Beth, and we're going to have all the links in the description and all that, but what's the best way for people to find you and connect with you?
Simple. My website, bethrobins.com. It's a simple way to contact me. I mean, that's like, I think the easiest. I mean, I could say, yeah, you throw out all my links and everything like that, but that's a direct, like, hey, girl, let's talk. It's a contact
Right?
me button. It's like, all right, let's talk.
Okay.
I'm as real, like, I'm the girl you want to go have a beer with, or coffee. I'll do that too. Walk on the beach. Like, I'm just a regular gal.
Right. Well, it do sound like a regular gal.
I am.
Now, few moments from this chat today really stood out to me. Allow me to highlight some. Okay. Let's talk about the origin story. From Broadway to fitness and wellness coach to coming back from retirement and then COVID and pivoting. I mean, what a journey,
Yeah.
right? So very interesting. Really like that. Um, then we moved to whenever you were onboarding me, right? And like it's about the why, the purpose. Of why am I going to get to the goal, right? And that is so important because it also brings me back to your reasoning to why are you doing this, right? And you are so open about your own obstacles. Like I was afraid of the change, but it meant you're alive, right?
Yeah.
It means it has meaning. Like you said, oh, whenever I hit those moments, it means I'm into something, right? So that's something that is whenever I talk, and that happens a lot, like I talk to all types of people in the coaching space, but the question I usually tend to ask them, like fulfilling moment and all that, it's always on those pivotal moments that they go back to. Like they always they kind of miss the drive, the energy of that specific moment in time that they were all in, you
Yeah.
know. So that's so interesting to watch. Um Last but not least, I would say is you were mentioning like YouTube, oh, I got this and all that, right? When you're going back into the game and how humbling of an experience is the entrepreneur journey, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a roller coaster of emotions. Like I am an entrepreneur too. So sometimes you're like, yay, I'm rich. And the next month you're like, what the hell? I'm poor. And then, oh my God, nothing's gonna work out, and then everything works out, and it's just a roller coaster of fear, and then you fire someone, and then you're surprised by someone that helps you out of nowhere, and you're like, oh my. So sometimes we create this thick shell, right, because we don't want to get hurt or something burned ourselves in the past, but eventually we understand it's really not just about us, it's about everyone in their own journey, and we're just like this big huge ecosystem, right? And we can be a good part of it or a bad part of it, but with your intention and what you're creating to impact 100 million people, I can almost guarantee you're in the good side of it. Okay. Now, this is just my long-winded way of saying I appreciate what you do, Beth, and I appreciate you being here and sharing so openly today. Okay, it was great having you on.
Oh, it's been a blast. I was listening to your recap of everything. I think the underlying theme is not necessarily just why, but it's what. What would you love?
Mm,
And not getting away from that. It's like when you get to a crossroads, like, should I add this to my business or should I collaborate with? It's like, really, just ask, what would I love? What does it feel expansive, or does it make you feel constrictive? Like, I don't want to do that. And it's kind of like it's the what, then the why.
mm. That is true, right? Whenever like uh, you look at your calendar, and sometimes you bring in someone, you're like kind of, I'm not sure about this client. And then you look at your calendar, and if you're feeling like, oh my God, this one again, that's a tell, right? Of like, maybe no, right? So
Right.
that gut feeling of what do you want to do? Like, I think it's so important to hammer that into ourselves. Like, does it feel right to you? So yeah,
Yeah. Well,
go do it.
does it feel right? Does it make you come alive? It's like and you talk about your calendar. Calendar is our best friend. And if you look on your calendar on Sunday and there's stuff in there, they're like, I'm not really looking forward to Tuesday. Well, it's your calendar, dude. Like, move that thing on Tuesday you don't want to do to Thursday, or don't do it. You know what?
Right.
You don't need to suffer. And if there's people in your business or clients that you're just like, oh, and you need to break up with them. you know, it's like, hey, this isn't working out. And that's I coach 12 weeks at a time, and then I hope people stay with me on to further coaching. But I don't offer my 1 year or 15-month programming on day one because I don't know if we're going to work out. It's like we got
Right.
to date a little bit. We got to woo each other, and I'll know 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, if you're showing up, you're doing the work, and you're my ideal person. I've pretty much already vetted you anyway. But then there's a few that squeak through. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like, what? Maybe we should break up. Or it's like, okay, I can do 12 weeks, but I'm not taking you on for 15 months.
Dude, great having you today. Okay.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you.
That's it for this episode. This episode, as well as this podcast, was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help business owners elevate their business to 6, 7, and 8-figure years, all without burning out. If you're looking to grow your business, as well as get the time freedom that you are looking for, visit us at joinpurplecircle.com and see what we can do to help you and your business.